Hello, you're watching Country Chat with Dom with me, Dom here. Absolutely excited to have this amazing guest here. Her name is Amy Jo.
Hello.
Hello, how are you doing?
Really good. A little bit tired, but no, I'm actually surprisingly full of energy this morning. So yeah, how are you?
Equally tired. I mean, I can't be as tired as you. For context for everybody out there, we have just been to we was in Sheffield last night. So I live on the outskirts of York. You're in Morecambe,
Yes,
which
yes.
is a bit of a trek away.
Yeah, I mean, I'm used to it now, really. But driving, I used to get really car sick, and I used to hate driving for gigs. And now in the front, bit of water, eat properly. I've solved it. I've solved the problem. So now I don't mind. I actually quite enjoy being in the car now.
Yeah. Are
Yeah,
you the driver? Are you the passenger? You
no.
passenger princess?
Very much a passenger princess. I have done my car test, I think it was 3 times, and I still have not passed my test, which is awful. I'm just terrible. I'm so impractical with things like that. And I think I went through a stop sign, which is not a great start to a test, is it? So,
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, there's certain people I know. I'm not going to call them out, although people probably guess who this is been known to do that with me in the car, and I panic. I kind of like hold the seatbelt. I kind of like hold the top. It's like I'm just waiting for the stop sign just to see if we do stop. But yeah, I mean, it was incredible. Just so everybody knows, we are talking on the 21st of June right now. And the time is currently 11:15 in the morning. And as I say, last night we was in Sheffield because you was asked to do something very, very special.
Yes.
What was you asked to do?
I was asked to support Katy Hurt. It was the last show of her headline tour, I think, last night, wasn't it? So
It
it's
was.
the last show, and I'm a huge fan of Katy, full stop. So I've been meaning to watch her live. I would nearly went to watch her last week actually for her songwriting round that she's been doing at the Wirral. Wasn't well, so couldn't go. But this just popped up, and I thought, amazing! I get to support and watch her at the same time. Literally the best of both worlds. Yeah.
I mean, speaking with her last night, because we did a separate recording afterwards, to kind of like to talk about the tour and to kind of like go over the best bits, the things that are memorable, and to talk about the support acts. And we spoke about you, and
No.
there was lots of lovely things that was said as well. So
Oh, that's nice.
to say that the way that Katie did it was rather, remarkable actually. She kind of like opened it out to everybody
Yeah.
and said, if anybody wants to support me on this tour, please, please let me know. Send your details. And I think she said it was, I can't remember. Oh, I can't remember. I'm so tired. I think it was 75 different
Mm.
acts that kind of like messaged in. And then she's had to wean that right down to nine.
Wow. Yeah.
And you made that cut.
Honored.
I mean, watching your performance last night, because I love watching new artists. It was one of the reasons why I kind of like started my show originally was because I wanted to force myself to look for new artists.
Mm.
And the first time I saw your name was during a Instagram live with Linda Conway from Voice of a Woman. And although I was only in there for a couple of minutes, because I was at work at the time, so I couldn't because
We'll
we've
let you
got
go.
day jobs and stuff. So although I do I try to watch as much as possible whilst I'm at work, whilst I'm doing work as well. If guys from work are watching this, I do work, I promise. But yeah, it's one of those things that I was just like, she sounds incredible.
Oh.
This person sounds incredible, and the way that you two were having a bit of banter and everything, it was amazing. I didn't know who was going to be the support act last night for
Oh.
Katie's until I actually walked to the Greystones, got to the front door, got inside, looked at the poster, and it said Katy Hurt support Amy Jo.
That's
That's
so
the first
weird
time I kind of
though.
like knew that.
Yeah. If like you came across my name like a week ago and then like the universe, that's so weird, isn't it? Like
I
there
mean,
I am.
admittedly, not only because you sounded absolutely incredible last night, but because of that reason. Because I'm starting to firmly believe that there is something out there that's kind of like guiding us
Mm.
towards different people and towards different scenarios and situations. And because of all that, I was like, I'm gonna have to hang fire here. I'm gonna have to ask her to come on my podcast, and I made sure that I got up this morning to do this.
Oh, I'm actually genuinely very honoured, and I love. If you can't tell, I'm a massive chatterbox. I love talking, so any excuse to talk, I'm there.
I mean, as you can probably tell, I'm also the same. I'm the same there. I mean, before this show, I was kind of like going through. I've got a brand new Rodecaster for those who are techie. It's like a mixing desk, but with like sound pads and stuff. I don't know, sample a couple of these sound pads as well, just so everybody can hear, because I've done this on my radio show so many times. It's so exciting. So if I wanted to talk that had a bit of a jingle, a bit of a music bed behind it, I'd go for this one. Now, I don't know if Amy can hear this yet.
Not yet, no.
So for those at home, that you will be able to hear this. It's kind of like a jazzy, upbeat thing. I'm just going to turn my headphones so it's going towards the microphone.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I'm going to actually do this. So that's the music bed. I've also got things like applauses.
Oh, have you got booze?
I haven't got booze, unfortunately.
Oh,
So that's the applause. I've got a trombone. I've got a rim shot, so if there's a joke or something, ignore the squeal from the whatchamacallit, the it's one of the, it's an incredible piece of kit for those out there. I mean, I'm spending a bit too much time talking about this, but there's so many different features on it, and I'm still trying to work out a lot of it. So if there is something that does sound a bit odd on this first episode with the Rodecaster, I do apologize. I mean, the mic seems to be up and down a bit, so I'm just fine tuning it and getting it just right to how I want it. But yes, I've gone completely on a tangent there. Yeah, it's so nice to actually have you on the show, and it's so nice to actually watch you perform and some of the music you was playing last night. I mean, I don't think you did a single cover last night. Trying to think back to it.
oh yeah. I didn't even think to do a cover last night. If
I
I
mean,
had have done, I would have done "Can't Fight the Moonlight" because that's one of my big covers.
really?
I know. Now I feel like I've missed out there. I should have
But the
done
thing
that.
is, though, that's the whole point. You know, you've come into this gig, you've come in as a support act to rile the crowd up, and you did that successfully, not with covers, with your
Yeah.
own music, and that just shows the level of ability that you have.
Oh, thank you.
It is just, yeah. And I mean, I'm gonna blow the trombone and be like, this is absolutely incredible, and it's just watching some of your performances last night. I mean, I was asking about Hypocrite and what is happening with Hypocrite because I can't find it anywhere, and it's really frustrating me because it was such an incredible song, and it's like I want to listen. I was I was driving home last night, and I was listening to your music because it was like get ready for the chat because again it was the first time I've really kind of like sat down and listened to your music via Spotify, and no better way of doing that when you're driving home from a gig.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I was looking for Hypocrite. I was like, I can't find this. Where is this? What's going on? And I normally go through like YouTube and stuff, so I've not even had a chance to go through YouTube yet. This is how fresh, this is how new this is for me. So,
Yeah.
I mean, like, so Hypocrite. Tell me more.
So, I feel like I'm being a bit of a tease whenever I do actually play that song because everyone's saying that. They're like, when's it out? When's it out? And yeah, I wrote it with Callum and an amazing who played with me last night, and an amazing writer called Mary. And it was like I think it might have been the first writing session we did, if I remember right, or at least the second one. And it was only a few hours, and we had this whole song finished. And I think we were all very excited about it. We felt like it was a slightly new direction for me. It was sort of a natural evolution from where I'd been, but it was a bit more upbeat, a bit more folky, a bit more pop, and it just had that like the la-di-da hook in it that I just thought that's going to be really fun doing live. So it will be out soon. I can confirm that the recording has been made, and as have a lot of the other songs. But I want to release it at the exact right time because I've got some cool ideas for the video and some cool ideas for like how I'm going to promote it, and I just want to give it its best shot. So yeah, there's going to be a tiny little wait time, but not too much, because I want to
Just
build off
now.
the momentum on it.
Just now. You need to. This needs to be out now. Just like what is going on?
Yes.
Um, I'm curious. In terms of the video, and what kind of like. You don't have to tell me exactly how the video is going to go because who knows? It might go in a completely different way. But what's the sort of concept you're thinking about? Are you thinking more like, you know, ethereal? Are you thinking floaty? Are you thinking what's the kind of like vibe you're going for?
Yeah, whenever I've done music videos in the past, I like to lean into the storytelling part of it. So there's a video I've done called Feb 14th, and it was inspired by Bridget Jones. So I'm kind of like having the popcorn and I'm in my pajamas eating pizza. And I kind of pick like films that I love or like that sort of era and then try and replicate it. So with Hypocrite, it will definitely be, I don't want to give too much away yet, but it will be story led. It's going to be quite amusing and quite funny. And I think that's going to be a theme for a lot of the next songs, that they're all going to be a little bit humorous, because I want to lean into that side of myself a little bit more, a kind of more carefree attitude that I have. And I
Yeah.
think that'll come out in the songs. So yeah, but they'll all be story led and they'll all be very much very relatable and very personable. Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the songs because I believe you finished it last night and you finished your set with Hypocrite.
Yes. Yeah.
And I just remember I was trying to film like loads of little mini clips to kind of like put reels together because we're content creators. This is what we do.
Oh,
Any chance you can kind of like film something to create content to put out to the public, you're always doing.
mhm.
And yeah, I was filming bits from each song, and it got to Hypocrite, and I filmed the first little bit, and I was listening along, and I was like, this is extremely good. And
Oh,
I had my little gimbal with me, and I actually pulled the legs out, put it down, and I forgot to press record because I was just so
oh.
infatuated in a way. It was both you and Callum was just the way that you two kind of like come together and do a little bit of a line dance on the stage was just funny. I add that in there because it was incredible.
I had no idea what was going on. I was rolling with the punches there.
It was just fantastic. I mean, for everybody out there, he was literally just tuning his guitar, but he was having to go around to the pedal to kind of like turn the tuner on. It's one of those cool electronic ones. I always love them rather than just the little clip things that you get on top of acoustics. Yeah, bit of a nerd. Yeah, it was just absolutely mesmerizing, and the way that both of you was incorporating the whole crowd throughout the whole night was just it was incredible. And
I
you was only on there for what 50 minutes, I think it was in the end, or like 40 minutes or so.
think it was 40 in the end.
Yeah,
Yeah, because we have so many songs that I could have played another like 10 now because we've got so many. It's really hard to whittle down to those few songs. But the audience thing that you were saying, I love doing that because it's so much fun when you're playing acoustically as well and you don't have a full band to get everyone kind of involved. A lot of the new songs on the album, they've got a lot of backing vocals, a lot of harmonies, and it's like, well, if I can't do them right now, everyone else can help me with them. And I
yeah.
thought, that's definitely going to be it's definitely a feature of my sort of live set, I think, and I think I'll keep doing that as long as I can because I think people enjoy being involved.
Well, that's it. I mean, there's always people that always kind of like go against the grain, and they're just there to listen to the music or whatever. I mean, people be people. You don't have to ruin it for everyone else. But absolutely loved everybody in that venue because everybody got involved. I was kind of like watching around at times, and I was like, because I was kind of like luckily placed on the side. I was one of the first people that walked in, and I met with Paul, incredible guy as well, who did some filming for you as well.
You did.
And he just sent me a message actually because I was taking again a massive tangent. People who know me, people who watch this show knows I go on tangents. We was taking photos at the end of the show, and how many photos did we get through? It must have been 20, 30 different photos, different angles and different lights and different.
It was stitching us up in there, though, wasn't it? The lighting just wasn't hitting in the way I was hoping it would. I think, when you get the stage lights that are colours, like
Yes.
the greens and the reds and the blues, there's something about that where, like, when it's over your head, you sort of turn ghostly. And I'm already pale. So I just look like a ghost in all of my pictures. I think we got one good one in the end, though, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, it was literally just, I think it was one of the ones where I was literally just tapping the screen just to get like 30 photos, just to kind of like hope that one just pops, and it was. I mean, it was good. But yeah, he just messaged me now saying that he's just released a reel, and my cheeky selfie was supposed to be the final image of the post, because basically when I took one of the photos,
Yeah,
I actually took a photo of me, and because that's what you do. You just
I love that.
you get a cheeky little selfie, and yeah, absolutely incredible guy. You know, loved sitting with him, talking with him about all the music and all the different people, and speaking with like about Linda Conway and DC Brown. At first, he thought it was DC Brown when I walked in. I was like, that is
Oh,
such a compliment. I mean, I love that. But yeah, absolutely incredible. And again, going back to the music and going back to yourself and like Hypocrite and Love Before the Internet. So many different songs that you played last night that was just so enthralling, so mesmerizing. And again, getting the crowd involved with a lot of your songs as well, just really added to that. I don't know, being close, being together, being in the same room, being in the same zone, and being in the same vibe and harmonizing.
yeah, no, that's so important to me because I love community and I like I want to build community around my music as much as I can. And I think those gigs like last night, you just look forward to them so much as an artist because you know that the people who are in there are genuinely interested in music. They're genuinely wanting to listen to new music, which is quite hard to get people to listen to new artists. Like you got to be a certain level of open-minded to do that. So I always know that the people there, I already just really like them before I've even seen them before. They know that they're going to be so open-minded, and I just love that. It's really important to me that. So I think I'll continue with that sort of audience participation for a long, long time. I don't think that will ever leave me or my goals with music.
Please, please, please never ever stop that. Don't stop it, because that's the one of the things that really does make, from a customer, paying customer, or a fan, or anybody that comes in to watch, these performances, and it's having that engagement is just adds that extra. We feel part of the family,
Yeah,
and it really does. It does make it even more enjoyable. I mean, it's enjoyable anyhow. Listen to the music, but to actually get involved with the music in different ways and different harmonies, and it was so good. Um, that takes me on to Love Before the Internet.
okay.
You played that, is one of released in 2024, I think I read. Oh,
Yes, sort of end of last year. Yeah.
yeah. So Love Before the Internet, absolutely love the whole premise to that, because it's just so it's incredible the way that kind of like relationships happen nowadays, because
Mm.
my previous relationship, I met her whilst working at Domino's, and then my current relationship now, I met through the internet, because I interviewed her on one of my podcasts, and then we kind of like we developed over the years, and it's crazy thinking about actually love before the internet. Like
Yeah.
it's incredible, because I mean the internet you was talking about last night, was what, 89?
I think it was, yeah, I think I read, I always forget, I'm terrible with numbers, but it's somewhere in the 80s, I'm pretty sure. Or if it was 79, but it's not actually been around that long when you think about it. It just feels like it's been forever for us.
I'm just googling now. When was the internet created? Who invented the internet? 29th of October 1969.
69.
69. I
Wow.
mean, that comes from Siri, and I don't know. But
Wow.
yeah, it's discoverer or inventor Vint Cerf Bob Kahn. I mean, I don't know. This is Google. If it's on Google, it's right. I mean, I didn't, I don't know. It could be. I mean, I'm sure. Well, Microsoft was in what, the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, yeah, it checks out. It seems like it's, yeah, gosh, 69.
But I think that's very, 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 very rudimental internet. Kind of like the first line to line kind of.
Yeah, the basics.
So Love Before the Internet. Tell me, let's go with the cliche question first. Where did it come from?
Um, I've always been like a really observant person, quite nosy, and I like to write not just from my perspective, but from like a world or societal perspective, and how society changes and things like that. So that was kind of where that came from. And then obviously the song is like a made up story about this couple, and sort of like the ins and outs of their little relationship and how they met and stuff. And that was all really just from my imagination. Again, I always find like the songs that end up being the ones I play or recording, they always happen really quickly. So this was like an hour and I had that song done, and I just it just poured out of me like I've been thinking about it for years somehow. And I think having it in the form of talking about like this made up couple, I could really like dive into, oh, I bet the granddad, like, I bet he's in his granddad's car, and I bet like they've gone for a milkshake at the local diner. Like, I was just trying to think, like, what would it have been like? And I don't
Yeah.
even know if it was better back then or not. I think the song is kind of questioning, is it better or not? I'm not really saying if it is or not. I'm kind of saying, I bet it might be, but I don't really know. And I think I kind of wanted the listener to make that mind up for themselves, because some people have such differing opinions on that, but I think it's such an interesting conversation to have, and something that I haven't really heard many people talk about, especially not in songs. So, yeah, I just kind of wanted to start a dialogue with that topic. Yeah.
I mean, it's currently playing in the background now for those who are, listening or watching or whatnot. Um, but it is just the way that it's slowed down and it's made very sort of sad in a way. It does play on the plays on the heartstrings of it.
Does it? Ooh.
Ooh.
It feels reflective, I feel. Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels sentimental and nostalgic. And I think, yeah, the sound of it, I wanted it to feel nostalgic because we're going back in time. So I kind of wanted to play on those emotions a little bit. So I'm glad you've picked up on that.
It's absolutely incredible. And there's so many songs as well that you've got, released at the moment. And, we talked about, like Hypocrite that's about to be released in God knows when. I mean, who knows when that's going to be released. Just curious, how many songs have you got written or wrote? I still never know the grammar for that. How many songs have you got composed that you're ready to take to the studio and to kind of like showcase to the world?
In terms of this next album, I think we're on like number 6 for the recording. So we're kind of
Ooh.
getting through those recordings now. I did have a lot of songs to sort of whittle down from, but I've noticed, and I don't know if this is because I'm in the creative headspace more, but since we've started recording the album more intensely, I can't stop writing songs. And I'm like, this is not the time. Like, I've got the songs are done. Like, why do I keep writing more? And then I'm like, we're gonna have to another track and another track, and it's going to be like 40 tracks by the time I finish this.
I bet the producers in the studios are like, ching, 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 ching. Yes, you keep bringing the music. You keep bringing it. Do you want to give your the studio that you're doing the recording with, or the producers, the mixers, masterers, the people that are working behind the scenes? Should I give them a quick little shout out and say, let's
Yeah,
get them on the air?
100%. So in terms of like the writing, I've been writing mostly by myself, but I've also been writing with Mary Lee, Grant Black, a fellow country artist called Owen Morton, did a song with,
Ooh.
yeah, he's a lovely person, a great guy. Callum, who was on stage with me last night, we've written a lot of songs together. So I've been kind of collaborating with lots of different people. Rachel as well, I did a recent one with. And then in terms of the production, Callum is also a fantastic producer. So we've been doing, it started with us playing guitar and bass together, but then I realized he was this incredible producer. So we've been doing a lot of that. And because he's on stage with me so often as well, and like has been here for quite some time, like he understands like what I'm really trying to get from the music. So
Yeah.
as a producer, it's like the most incredible situation. So that's been that. And then in terms of behind the scenes, I also have an amazing publisher who is like sort of like my support system and mentor who always sort of checks in and hears the songs and says what he likes. And he very rarely tells me what he doesn't like. And I'm like, you can't like all of them, surely. And he's like, no, I genuinely do. Like, I do. He's so supportive. So, yeah, there's so many people in the background, which obviously this whole thing, like, it really does take a village, doesn't it? And none of this could happen on my own. And I'm really just the result of everyone around me. And so, yeah, I never take that for granted because without them, I would just be a girl with a guitar, really. So it's really nice to have all these people on board, and all of them are so close to me. So, yeah, I'm very lucky to have had that team around me at the moment. Yeah.
I think I don't think you're just a girl. You know, you'd never be just a girl with a guitar because you, like we were saying earlier about like the universe and the way that things plan out. I think something will always come up. You know, even if it's not this, you know, situation, this scenario, something else will help manifest it up. And it's just, you know, when you've got talent, when you've got, you know, fans and people who actually do genuinely love the way that you write, the way that you produce music, and the way that you kind of like speak the truth or speak a story or speak, you know, your truths, you know, it's always going to lead to something, and it's just absolutely incredible. So it's just so nice to just listen to some music, and I've not even got into your biggest streamer yet.
Yeah, there's a couple there that definitely took off. Yeah, Bad Day. That was unexpected, but again, my publisher was really, really like proud of that song. He was like, "Oh, this is a really good one." And it's funny because when you write the songs, you really don't know which ones are gonna resonate at all. It's to this day, people still have completely different favorites on my EP, and
Yeah.
I just can't work out, is there a better song on there, or is it just literally whatever resonates with that individual? It feels like that's the case. Because a lot of people have come in close, a lot of people love Feb 14th. The only thing with Feb 14th is you can't really sing it all year round.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it is based on Valentine's Day. I mean,
Yes.
although I've got to say, going on to Feb 14th, listened to the lyrics last night, and it's I remember it coming on, and again, this is literally just I've only listened to it a couple of times, obviously, because it was only an hour and a half drive from
Yeah.
Sheffield to my house, and I was kind of like took back by the lyrics on Feb 14th because it's yes, it's about Valentine's Day, it's about love, it's about you talking about other people that are kind of like finding their kind of like person to cuddle up with in bed, I think you call it, or
Yeah.
under the covers or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, oh, my headphones just dropped off. But yeah, I mean, there's a really, 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 really sad line in there about the tumors coming back, and I was just like, what? I mean,
Just kind of come out of nowhere, doesn't it?
it does. I mean, I was like, I was fully invested in the song. Like, yeah, I mean, I vibe with this. You know, there's so many people. I mean, particularly when I've been single in the past or when I've been in relationships. I've always been a bit of a weird one when it comes to Valentine's Day because parts of me loves buying gifts and I'm very much a giver. And, you know, I like to treat people.
Yeah.
But I'm also in the same sense that why the frig should I just celebrate on one day? Why can't I just do that
Yeah.
every day? It's just
Every day.
I'm
Yeah.
so torn up. But yeah, that's what I was kind of like thinking about, you know, during the start of the song, and then it was like, I'm gonna end up missing you, and because of the not being able to see because of this tumor that's come back, it's like, oh shit, you you're not alone because you've been left, or you're not alone because you're alone now because someone's died. It's like what the?
Yeah,
I
I
was
know.
just so emotionally invested. I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah, I did wonder whether to keep that in when I first wrote it, but I thought that is the reality for a lot of people. Like,
It is.
it's not always gonna be like rainbows and butterflies. And even if you find that perfect person, you're still gonna grow old together. And at some point, hopefully when you're in your 90s or your hundreds, but that would have to end at some point. And it's a horrible reality. But I thought, well, that is real life, and I want to talk about real things, even if it's kind of a bit, depressing. But yeah, the first the first paragraphs, the first two verses are a little bit more of an optimistic sort of, yeah, two optimistic scenarios, and that one's like a realistic awful thing, like even if you find your person, you are going to grow old together. And yeah, it is a little bit sad, but yeah, hopefully it doesn't affect people's enjoyment of the song too much because I did think, oh, it has taken a quick turn. But I just wanted to write what I felt was in my heart and like the real life that people go through. Yeah. So
But the great thing is, even though, it's very emotional, it's stuck with me. And that's what you want from songs, as an artist, as a creator,
yeah.
when somebody draws a portrait like the ghost face, it's not a it's incredibly, it's incredibly done, but it's so striking that it stands out. It's one of those kind of images that if you mention the ghost face from whoever it was, Van Gogh or whoever it was, you can picture like the ghostly silhouette, and then people say, "Oh, it's a dog" or whatever. But you can visit, you can visualize it in the mind.
Mm,
And when we talked about, when you mentioned about Feb 14th earlier, and straight away it pops into my head. That's
yeah.
the one with the really sad lyric. And it's incredibly done, and it goes with the story so well. It's not like it's forced. It's not like it's just randomly placed in. It's almost like a timeline in a sense
Mm,
of, you
mm.
know, being young in love, growing up in love,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
old age, being in love but not together. It's so beautifully done. It could be perceived in so many different ways as well.
Yeah, and I love that because I don't want to tell like the listener too much with my words. I want it to be interpreted because everyone lives a different life and I don't want to be too not confident but too certain in how I feel because people have their own perspective that they can attach to what I'm suggesting and I want my music to be more of a dialogue than a monologue. I
Yeah.
don't want it to just be me spouting out everything and people go, oh cool, that's her. I want it to yeah, I want it to create discussion because like I say, I love community and I want to know what other people think about the world and stuff. So yeah, I'm glad that it can be interpreted differently.
Is there any other songs that you've either released or going to release that invoke that same sort of sheer shock horror?
Yeah, yeah. I will say the upcoming album, the songs are largely upbeat, they're fun, they're kind of not fun as in lacking meaning. I still think a lot of the songs have this like underlying message. And like the beat's happy, but it's like, oh, there's a feeling evoked there.
Yeah.
But there's one song called I'd Fill You In and it's about my granddad who died when I was 16 and he got me into music. He bought me my first karaoke machine, my first piano, my first guitar, was very, very invested in me doing music. When he was like, in the hospice, the last thing I ever saw him do was pretend to play a guitar and he had like no energy left and that was the one thing
Oh.
he did. I know. And I just thought, right, I'm going to take that with me and just that's my purpose in life, and he really believed it. So there's a song about that saying like, if I could see you today, I'd fill you in on all the experiences I've had since that day, since being 16, and all the life I've lived, and I'd fill you in on it all. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh no, it really, it's quite emotional that one. So, and a lot of the people who've heard it have like cried listening to it in front of me. So I'm like, oh God, is it that
Is it
bad?
is it that is that emotional? Oh, I'm curious. I'm really
Yeah.
curious.
And it's on piano as well because I write on piano a lot. But I couldn't bring my piano yesterday because it's just a lot to bring for
Carrie.
a shorter set. But for my tour I'm doing at the end of the year, for my tour I'm going to bring my piano and sing a few more of those sort of heartfelt songs that I have in the middle of the set, and just kind of bring it all down a little bit and then back up again at the end. I won't leave everyone crying. I'll bring it back up before they go.
I mean, King of Tangents here. Tour. Let's go into the tour now.
Yeah.
So, end of the year tour, where are you going? Where can people kind of like get your tickets from? What's happening?
So, the tour is kind of a part two of my very first headline tour I did last year, and it was quite small because I'd never done a headline tour before. So I think it was just under 200 tickets that sold for these 4 dates, but I was so happy with that. Like I genuinely could not believe all those people had bought a ticket to come and watch my own songs. So I couldn't believe it, and I thought if I do it again, maybe people will will keep turning up. So we've booked 5 dates this time and in different places. And we've also got different guests on. So it's all kind of the same concept, but a bit more up to date. And so far already, we're doing so well with the ticket sales. We're doing far better with the ticket sales at this time than we did last year, far better.
Really?
I'm really excited about that, and it feels like it's growing a little bit. And yeah, we're doing Blackpool, Lancaster, Newcastle, Chester, and Manchester. So it's quite northwest at the moment.
Yeah.
That's where I'm from, and I'm hoping to add, when I do the next one, more sort of Midlands, London dates and things like that. But no, I'm really excited, and I've got some really great people on with me because it's called Friends You Meet Along the Way. So a lot of the people are friends I've made from the industry that I've known a long, long time, and kind of just want to shine a light on what they're doing because there's so much talent around. And I wanted the tour to sort of be like, come and look at the talent in the UK scene, as opposed to like, come and watch me. I just wanted it to be more of like again, the community thing that I'm passionate about. Yeah.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And I love how you're representing the North as well. I mean, as a Northern lad, I know you've played at the 45 Vinyl,
Hmm.
and if you are coming back over to York one time, just let me know.
Yeah.
I definitely want to be there for that one because, as I say, I'm sort of really, really gutted in a way. The fact that I've not, because I took a break from podcasting and whatnot for 2 years. I still listen to music and I still stayed in tune with it because I have my radio show.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that didn't stop. And there's certain artists that have kind of like come in and kind of like made a seat for themselves, and deservedly so. And yourself is one of them. The fact that I'm kind of kicking myself that I didn't see you at the 45, and the fact that I didn't get to the fact that that was the first time I've seen you perform. I mean, I'm sort of actually, I don't know, I'm really torn. I'm really torn because you played so incredibly last night, and who knows? I mean, fate, it's universe. It's one of those things that you just never know until you're actually experiencing it. But absolutely incredible gig last night, and looking forward to. I'm definitely gonna have to try and get a ticket for the tour. And if you do end up going down south, make sure you get around to like Suffolk area as well, just so it gives me an extra chance to possibly come see you as well, because that's
Yeah.
where I'm finding a lot of my time as well.
Oh, nice. It's
Um,
nice book. Yeah.
I love it. I just genuinely love it. Like the Colchester, even down towards Essex and
Yeah.
Manningtree and whatnot. Definitely, I'll have to speak to you about something after this. But for those who are watching this who know in the relationship that I'm in, you'll know exactly what I'm going to be talking to Amy about. But
Ooh,
yeah, I mean, ooh.
great.
So I would just want to. We'll talk a bit more about the tour in a second. Just want to go right back to the beginning. So you spoke about songs that are very much emotional. You spoke about your granddad and the fact that he did the guitar and bought you the instruments, the karaoke machine and whatnot. I want to go right back to the beginning and to the start of when you kind of like realized that you wanted to pursue music, when you actually first kind of like put a pen to paper or came up with a crafty little lyric that you thought that's actually really, really clever. Can you tell me about those times?
I actually feel like I have quite a good story about this.
Ooh,
Yeah. The first time was my school talent show. So I'd never really sung anything I'd done a bit of musical theatre, like, just for fun at like school clubs before then.
yeah,
But I was about 12, I think, and it was just my first year in high school, and they had a school talent show. And I said to my mum, I was like, I just want to enter that, but I don't know why. I don't have any proof that I can sing. And she went, well, what do you want to sing? I was like, I don't know. And then X Factor back in the day was on that week, and Laura White was singing Falling by Alicia Keys. And I thought, that's the
yeah.
song I'm going to sing. So I sang that. I won the talent show. And I remember all like the kids were giving me a standing ovation, and I had to sing it like 3 times. I just had to keep singing it because everyone
Yeah.
kept like cheering for it. And I remember being like, wow, I can actually sing. Like, this is a thing I could do. And it was at school, and I just thought, it's bizarre. And even from that day, so many opportunities have come from that talent show. Like even like live agents that were there, like they brought in outside judges. So that's led to loads of contacts later on. And then obviously everyone at school was like, "Oh, Amy, you can really sing," and that was kind of like they gave me the confidence to be like, "Oh, cool. Well, I guess this is my thing then." And then that was it. I was just a singer from then on. Like,
I mean, that's incredible. The fact that they brought judges and stuff like that in
Yeah.
there. I mean, that's going the full
Uh-huh.
extra little distance there. That adds that extra little layer.
Yeah, I know, and it was, and I'm still in touch with one of those judges now, and he's been a massive help in my career. It's just bizarre, but that was all from a school talent show, and then there was a couple more talent shows I did at school as well. So I was just in that sort of like area of the school. Like I was the musicy one, and I think a lot of the kids were like so nice. I say kids because we were kids back then, and they were so nice to me and genuinely made me feel like, oh, I can actually do it. And
Yeah.
that's where it all started. So that was where the singing came from. The songwriting was more of like a way to get me through school. And I started to listen to Taylor Swift a little bit at that age, and I was like, oh, she's writing about her life. I can do that. And then learned a few chords, and then, but all I was really writing about then was like boys I fancied at school because I didn't have
Hmm.
anything else to write about. I was like 13.
I mean that's kind of like always the starting block that a lot of people go for. It's always that kind of like same. It's like when you buy a new car, you always go to a used car dealership, and it's the cheapest one that you see because you know it's going to break within 2 minutes,
Hmm.
but you don't mind crashing it. You know, everybody sort of writes about the relationship because it's when you're particularly that age as well. It's something that's so huge. You don't really experience life. I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there that have experienced, some traumas or whatnot, throughout I mean, I was one of them growing up, when I was younger, um, having to grow up a little bit, quicker than most people. But a lot of people don't have to do that.
Yeah.
And, the only worry in life is, who's dating who or, I do miss the times of being a kid though, and that was the only worry was having to do your homework and then where you're gonna go meet up with your friends on the bikes and whatnot. I mean, but
Hmm.
I don't know if that's showing my age or whatnot, but that's all we ever used to do. We never had iPads or anything when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, it's absolutely incredible. And can you remember like the first lyric that you ever wrote, or kind of like the first kind of like phrasing that you this is going to make you kind of like reach back into the deep, dark depths of your mind that you probably tried hiding for a long time.
Yeah, this is deep in the archives, isn't it? I do remember going back to my granddad, being sort of 8 or 9 and having a few Word documents of lyrics. And I remember because they were color coordinated and he found them and he went, what are these? And then he printed them off thinking that they were important.
Yeah.
Um, and I was like, oh, they're just, I don't know really. And they were like little songs. I can't remember what they were about. I had a folder of them. I think he even helped me make the folder.
Please say you've still got that folder because that is
Yeah,
going to be something that's going to be so sentimental in the next, 10, 15, 20, 30, 50 years. I mean,
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think the first song I wrote that I can remember performing was called "Sorry For," and it was like, "You think you can play with my head, so go and run with that other girl instead. Um, you you think you're the one that I adore, but it's you that I feel sorry for."
that is actually really, really good. I mean, come on.
It was a
Please
bit
say that you.
savage.
It is really savage, but it's so true. I mean, go ahead and please put that in a song somewhere. I mean, just as like even if you do it on your tour or whatnot, and you just want to throw that line in there just randomly, just
Yeah, no,
that's brilliant.
I'm pretty sure that I think I even recorded that because I must have I think I wrote that when I was 15 and I remember I think I recorded it and I did like my first video. Someone wanted me, like school projects, or it wasn't a school project, but it was like a project someone wanted me to do, like to play a song.
Yeah.
And I remember, I don't know if it was that one or another one called "In Your Hands." Um, and yeah, and I sang that with a video. And in the video, I'm being like bitten. Well, I was around swans, and in between the takes, I remember being bitten by the swans, and they were like nabbing at me. And that was my memory, and I'm pretty sure it was that song. And it is somewhere in the ether. I'm sure people could find it. I haven't looked for a long time because I was so young, and I'm like, you just cringe at your older self, like your former self.
Hmm.
But I'm sure it's out there somewhere. Yeah, but I just think, where did that come from? Like, I think like that's so savage and so actually not really even me. Like, I'm not a savage person, so it's quite funny thinking back.
Okay, I'm gonna have a quick little look for it,
Oh
but
no, no,
I'm
no.
gonna try and talk at the same time. Now, is it gonna be on something like YouTube or something like that?
I feel like it will be, yeah, sorry for, yeah.
I mean,
But there's a
let's,
full, it's like a full music video. I can't remember. I think it was, I can't remember. I think Milton did it. He was a lovely guy that I met at the time. Because obviously, all the way through your career, you meet these people who really help you. And you think back, like, what were they seeing in me? Like, this song is, it's not great, but like, it's so nice that they reached out at those early stages because that's when you're forming your identity. And like, I really am grateful to those people. I just cringe so hard at me in it. Like, yeah, yeah. Have you found it? Because you're like smirking.
does the name Gym Coach Lindsay sound familiar to
Yes,
you?
yeah, Lindsay. Yeah, is it sorry for there? Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Yeah.
Okay, I mean, this is how rudimentary my technology setup is here. I'm gonna play the song.
Oh God.
So we are back here, Country Chat with Dong with Amy Joe here. We had a little bit of a technical hiccup there where my laptop decided that it was full. And it was like, you know what, we're taking a break here. We're having a bit of a stop. So I've got myself a nice little coffee here.
Mhm.
You went for a little banana, you know. Did you enjoy a little interlude there?
I did actually. Yeah. I get quite hungry actually. I have like little dips sometimes where I'm like, I need food. So I was like, the first thing I found was a banana, so I ate that, and I feel refreshed. So all good.
That's it. I mean, it's about the energy because these chats sometimes, like I've mentioned to you in the past, you know, I've spoke to people for 3.5 hours. You know, I can go longer if need be, and it's like at some point, it's like I can tell people are starting to flag a little. So it's like, do you just want to go get something to eat? Do you want to get a drink? If you do want to like pause for any point, just let me know and we'll pause and you can get a drink or whatnot. I usually say to people beforehand, this is kind of like very much a last minute. You know, last night was like, do you want to come on the show? And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah. So normally I say like, oh, make sure you bring like a drink or like a bottle of water or you know a coffee, couple of coffees or whatever, you know, or have somebody do that for you, little slave, little bell. Um, because one of the, I also usually say make sure you bring like snacks or something. And one of the questions I used to ask on my podcast when I first started, what 5 years ago now, is Jaffa cakes. Jaffa cakes are they a cake or a biscuit?
I feel like I've actually searched this weirdly, and I think the consensus on Google was that it was a cake.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
people technically think it's a biscuit, but it was called a cake because of the tax reasons, and sweet treats and cakes don't get taxed as high as biscuits do. So
yeah.
it is technically a cake.
There you
And
go.
that is the right answer for those who are watching this and think, oh, I don't know what it is. No, it's definitely a biscuit. Linda has an incredible answer, and she says it's an alien species. The fact that it's neither cake nor biscuit, it's just its own thing. So
Yeah,
I
that's
appreciate that.
yeah.
I asked that question so many times that people realized I had a bit of an obsession with Jaffa cakes. And one of my ex-partners at the time,
Yeah,
he actually made, or he got his sister or
yeah,
distant family to make a Jaffa cake, which was basically, you know when you can buy those pre-packet muffin mixes where
yeah,
you just put the powder in, you put an egg in, put some milk in, put it in the oven, it bakes, and it's like
yeah.
magic. Well, they got a couple of packets of that and put it into like a cake tin,
Okay.
made actual cakes with these muffin mixes, and then put it was like marmalade or like a sweet orange jam inside it, and then coated it with dark chocolate, and then put Jaffa cakes around it. So it was a Jaffa cake. I mean, it was like the best birthday cake I ever had. I think it was like when I turned 26 or something. I mean,
Wow.
I'm 33 this year. So
Wow. I didn't know that. You've got such like not 33 is very young, but you have very youthful, like vibrant energy that I thought you were like early 20s.
really, I'll take that
Mm,
as a compliment. I love that. I mean,
yeah.
it's very rare I actually mention my age on the podcast, but I've yeah, 92 was my year of birth. That's the reason why I kind of like remember times before technology and going out with the
Yeah.
phones and whatnot. And like earlier when we was talking about going off and riding bikes in the morning, life before an internet, and your summer love before an internet. It's it adds up. Um, but yeah, I take that as a massive compliment. Thanks, Amy.
That's all right. No, I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it. No, but you're very like energetic and you have like so much vibrance. Which I feel like with every year we get older, like a lot of people lose that, and I feel like yeah, you've got yours fully intact.
I think a lot of people just call that ADHD these days, but
Well.
I haven't actually been officially diagnosed with ADHD. Although the doctors, when I did phone them up about it, I said, "Look, I do this, I do this, I do this. This is what I think. This is how I feel. You know, please, can I come in, get assessed or whatever? And you know, is there anything to help? Trying to like not calm me down, but kind of like put me in more of a even playing field because." With ADHD, you're up and down constantly, and
Yeah.
there's times where I just don't want to move out of bed. I mean, that ties in with my depression because I suffer with depression and anxiety as well.
Yeah.
From losing my grandparents I think it's about 10 years ago now. For my granddad died from a heart attack over in Portugal. He was getting on the coach to come back home,
Oh, geez.
and I got a call from a random stranger saying, are you related to this person? It's like, yeah, who are you? What's going on? I'm supposed to be picking him up in like 3 hours time from the airport. It's like, well, he's just died. We've just tried doing CPR on him. And it's like, yeah,
Gee.
that broke me. That
Oh,
absolutely killed me off. Went through depression, suicidal thoughts and not everything that you could think of. And luckily the things I tried failed and I'm still here now. So doing this. So what more do I need in life?
yeah. Oh, well, you're so like strong for getting through all of that. Yeah. It's
I
amazing.
mean, there's people who've been through a lot worse, and you know, I'm not saying what I've been through isn't bad, but when you put things into context, you realize how precious life is, and when it comes to things like ADHD or just having fun, and then worrying about what people think or say or do, it's just at this point, it's like,
Yeah. Trivial. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I took a break from podcasting as well, because I went through the blasé thought of oh, nothing matters, nothing matters, nothing matters. You know, I'll just go off, do my own thing, and spending so much time on social media, on
Mm.
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at the time, and then TikTok came out. It was just like there is so much. There is just so much. And I told you I'd go on a tangent. I told you I'd go on a tangent.
No,
Um,
it's important. Like the social media thing, I fully relate to. Like it is too much. It's overwhelming, and it's like the first thing we'll do is check our phone. It's like, why are we doing that? Like that's just not. It's not going to
yeah.
set you up for a good day, is it? If like the first thing you see is everyone else's life, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. But we all do it anyway because we're hooked on it.
No, exactly. I mean, I always it's like television as well. I used to watch so much television when I was younger. I mean, literally I could binge watch a series. I mean, Grey's Anatomy, I binged the whole 21 seasons at the time. With I think it was like 2 or 3 months. And bear in mind it's 21 seasons, there's like 20 episodes per season. It's a lot of out and they're an hour long as well. So it's just like I've just I was doing it like work and stuff. So if you're at work, I do apologize. I was working at the same time. But yeah, I mean, I got to the point where I was like, what am I doing? Why am I watching so much TV? Why am I not being more productive? So I kind of like go through the consensus of if I'm watching something on TV, it's going to be something on YouTube or it's going to be some form of music or it's going to be like Spotify on the TV, something that's going to help me learn something. So
Yeah.
I'm either relaxing or I'm learning. So
Mm.
that's the you know, by relaxing I mean like putting music on, doing house chores and whatnot because I live by myself here. And
Yeah.
and in terms of learning, I do fishing. And I like to watch different videos on fishing or music or audio equipment, things that'll help develop me, whether it's video editing softwares, you know, kind of like tutorials. There's so many different things that you can learn. Or it's playing the guitar. I mean, I've I've taken my guitar down south to Suffolk, my acoustic. So I used to play guitar when I was younger, and it was just like I stopped that for some reason. It's just one of those things that kind of I got fed up with, and then recently it's come back to me. I want to do it, so I started playing more, but I've left it down south. So I got myself a guitar like I think it was about 10 years ago now, and it's a very 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 old. Well, it's not very very old. It's a very very cheap thing
Okay.
from a. There used to be a shop called Netto, I don't know
Right.
if you ever know of Netto.
No.
Um, it was early 2000s, I think. It was like the image was it was yellow background with a black, like a Westie holding a basket in its mouth.
Okay.
But this is how old it was. And they used to sell like music equipment and stuff like that, a bit like middle of Lidl, the
Right.
aisle in the
Yeah.
middle of Lidl. And I got this guitar.
Oh, it's nice.
It's called a Star Sound, and it is literally cheap of the cheap. It's like buying Amazon Basics when it comes to the thing. And I've never played it. And because my guitar's down south, I've been trying to learn songs like Wondering Why from Red Clay Strays. Incredible song. It's so bluesy, it's so jazzy. I love it. And
Yeah.
it's normally done on an electric guitar. So I thought, you know what? I'll get this out. So I went to play it. It was like, oh, that's out of tune. So I started tuning it up. And then I didn't realize that I'm actually missing a screw in
Oh,
the bottom of the where the strings actually tie in. So that started lifting up, and then ping, 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 all the strings started going. It was like, oh,
oh no.
bloody hell. So I've now got to try and find a screw for that. And again, that's another little tangent. Let's go back to the music. Let's go back to yourself because this is what the show is about. It's not about me, it's about you.
Oh no, it's
That's
doing that.
okay. So we was talking before we was rudely interrupted by my laptop that about a song called Sorry For.
Yeah.
And you was telling us about the swans nabbing at behind you. It was interesting, and I found the video for those who are interested.
Yeah.
There is the video. Make sure you check it out. I'm just gonna have a quick little scroll through. Let's just make sure my audio is turned up so the listeners can hear.
Oh, goodness me. I was like 15. I just want to caveat that.
I love the dress. I love the whole brown and the
The
brown and
time.
white.
Always knew it wasn't gonna last forever, but I never thought it'd end this way.
Why is my voice
Even
so
now,
low?
I don't feel sad. Had it out of mind.
For a 15-year-old, it's very, very
It doesn't compare to how I felt before.
very threatening.
Yeah.
Looking at you now doesn't feel right anymore. Don't think you
There
can
you go.
play with my head. Now you've gone.
What was that?
That's those lines. You've run with those other girls instead.
Yeah, got it.
Things won't take so long.
It's so good, actually.
But
Would you ever re-release this? Like re-record it?
I'm not sure.
I'm just gonna keep this held up like this.
Oh my gosh. One
You
thing
don't
I will
think-
say, if anyone thinks I haven't been country for very long, this is proof because I was 15 here and I am dressed like head to toe in like what I perceive to be like country inspo, and I sound very country here.
I mean, it is absolutely incredible. It's just, I'm actually really surprised. I was expecting a little bit more cheese in there, a little bit more. I
Oh,
don't know what I was expecting, really.
I think the video is really cool. Like Lindsay and Milton, they like put so much effort and time into this. Bless them. It was, yeah, it's not. I'm not as cringed out by myself as I thought.
I mean, I don't know why I'm actually holding this up because I could just try and pull the actual YouTube video and kind of like tie it in, put a little screen at the bottom of here. That's how evil I could be in terms of video editing. But I'm not going to do that to you. That's a bit too harsh.
Yeah, I'm just laughing at my hair as well because my hair is as white as my tights.
Is that bleached?
That was very heavily bleached. So my hair now is kind of like it's highlighted but not bleached, so it's not like super blonde. It's mostly like my natural color. But back then I went through a phase of like the blonder the better. Like it has to be the blondest blonde. Yeah,
Blondes.
it's so blonde. Jeez. Yeah, that's a big throwback.
You see, when I do podcasts and when I do interviews and whatnot with people, whether it's in person or whether it's via Zoom like this, well, the first thing I always give at least like 3 days from the moment that I say, let's do an interview to actually doing the interview. So I've got time to watch all the videos. I literally go, first thing I do is before I go to Spotify or anything, I'll go to YouTube and I'll find the page and I'll go all the way back, right back to the start to see the development from where you was then to where you are now.
Mm-hmm.
You were good back then.
I feel like yeah, there's a few fashion choices I definitely changed. I'm 27 now, so that was 12 years ago. 12 years ago. Which
Isn't it crazy how quickly time flies?
yeah, yeah. And but I look back and I'm like, that one's not so bad, but there was about a period from like 18 to 19, 18, 19, 20, where I really dived into the like I had really bleached hair and I got like fake tan all the time. So I was like I just look back and I thought, why did I do that? And I would have like the biggest lashes on and it's just how I felt at the time that I felt comfortable expressing myself that way. But you know, when you just kind of get more and more back to your natural self, and then you look back and you think, what made me do that? Like, what was the psyche behind me kind of hiding myself a little bit? And like,
Yeah.
I also don't want to say that in a judgmental way, because I think a lot of people really suit those looks. And I think if that's their expression, I fully get it. But it's really funny for me because over COVID, that was when I got rid of the tan, I got rid of the bleach and all the lashes and stuff. And I sort of came back to my old self again
Back
and
to your roots.
back to my roots. And it's quite jarring when I see like my hair in that video, even at 15, how bleached I'd had it. And I'm like, it's just so odd. I don't know what made me do that at the time. But you go through these journeys, don't you? And you learn from them and you sort of come back to yourself in the end. So
Do you find that it ties in with pressures from school, from peers, in that sort of sense, trying to, I don't know, because when I was younger, I've only ever dyed my hair once.
right.
It was in year 8, and I mean, year 8 for me, that you, what, 12 years old, that's 11 years ago for me now.
Yeah.
And 11, no, it's got to be more than 11. So that's 20 years ago.
Oh yeah, yeah.
20.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes me feel
It's like,
so sick.
yeah.
I said 11. I was like, well, that's not, that math doesn't math. Almost ties into what you were saying last night about about A's and B's. You've got to always kind of like go for the A's, and if you go for a B, it's not right. When you're
Yeah.
talking English. But yeah, I mean, only ever dyed my hair once, and it wasn't even dyeing. I got highlights. So
Yeah.
the tips of my hair roots were blonde. I dyed them
Oh.
blonde, and bearing in mind my hair. I'll just take my cap off. I
Oh.
mean, it looks a bit short now. It looks like it's starting to thin a bit, but I promise it's not.
So this is your natural hair color, the brown?
Yeah, this is my natural hair color. I can't really tell because of the lighting. I got my ring light on, so I'll just adjust the ring light, or I might even turn it off for a second so you can. So it's
Okay.
like not a mousy brown, but it's like I don't know. I don't know what my hair is. I
Yeah.
never really cycle. Ooh, that's yellow. Oh, that makes me look greasy. Let's go for that one. Oh, technology, eh? But yeah, I mean, I just wear caps all the time now because it's comfy. Yeah, I mean, like I say, dyed the hair tips blonde, and I remember one time because they made a rule at that time because everybody was going for extreme hair colors, like pinks and vibrant colors. It's a time where kids were just being kids, and they put a blanket ban on saying no hair changes whatsoever. It's got to be your natural hair color. And literally, it was the week before I had my hair done. And I came into school and I was pulled into a meeting. I was like, "Oh, I didn't know. I don't know. This is booked months and months ago, and my parents have already paid for it." And I was the coolest kid in school
Oh
because
yeah.
I broke the rules.
Yeah.
And I had this swanky in the early 2000s, kind of like Justin Timberlake times. It was like that's what people are going for, and it's the boy band eras and stuff like that.
Was this like Busted and McFly around that time because they had the little tips
They
and highlight?
they were just starting as well. It's
Yeah.
incredible, and
I love that.
seeing the bleached hair there just very much reminded. It's very nostalgic in a way.
It is, yeah, yeah. It's just odd. Yeah, I think because I've gone through like the full circle of like trying to do everything I can to like almost fit in or like hide myself a bit, and then you come back and it's just so jarring for me personally. But I suppose if someone else hasn't been through that journey, they just see that video and go, "Oh, that's that and that's that." But for me, I'm just like, "Oh, it feels so odd." I've been on such a mental journey since that video, and since being 15. Yeah, it's such an odd thing for me to.
So, out of curiosity, then, because you mentioned a second ago the fact that if people want, it's to prove to people that you was, somewhat country, 11, 12 years ago when you was 15. What actually made you think then country? What was it that actually said to you, this is the genre, this is where I fit, this is the sound that I wanted? Because it is very niche. It's very in a country that doesn't follow country as such. It's only the mainstreams, Dollies and Kenny Rogers, and the
Yeah.
mainstream stuff, Carrie Underwood's at the times, and you know, you get the gist.
Yeah. I think for me, because obviously country was not cool back then at all. So when I was 15, it was like, who you listen, like the people did not compute that people listened to it back then. But I like I say, I got into Taylor Swift at that time, so that was sort of my starting point. And this was when she was country, like the first album. So I related so heavily to her, and I just felt like I could relate to someone from the other side of the world. And I've never seen it as something that's like, it's an American genre and therefore there's this sort of divide. I see it as kind of our own version of it in the UK, like it's our own perspective. And for me, the number one selling point of country is storytelling. And I've always wanted to tell stories, and I've always wanted to use words to kind of evoke certain feelings or try to eloquently describe a feeling. And I think country is the one genre that really lets the words and the lyrics sit, as opposed to, you don't have to fit it into this neat little melody. You can just let the words lead the song. And I think that's what I've always been attracted to with country. And I mean, that song I wrote at 15 wasn't necessarily the deepest, most meaningful storytelling song, but I think you can kind of hear a little bit how that would play out later on. And I also really liked the fact that it was quite a real and authentic genre as well, and people were very much themselves. And I think I returned back to country when I started like getting back to my roots and being more comfortable with who I was as a person and more confident in that. And I think that tied in back with the country again. So full circle, really.
So you mentioned about COVID, and like I said, go back to roots and whatnot. And COVID for a lot of people was very much finding themselves. It was finding how they can cope with themselves in a confined space, and it was very much a big learning curve. How did you find then COVID and going back to those roots? And because a lot of people struggled and a lot of people thrived. For me personally, I loved being locked in the house because as much as I am an extrovert and I can bounce around and I've host festivals and I can stand on a stage and speak to 1,000 people comfortably, not be nervous. I actually do like my own company sometimes, and I do like to just sit inside and watch a video and then do things like this where it's I'm in my own living room here, and you're at home, and it's just so much. It was so much more comfortable, and doing it's how a lot of people kind of like develop their live streams and online presence. What was it like for you then?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Like, I think I had a similar experience to you in terms of I quite thrived on being alone. I'm also quite extroverted as well, but I really do like that time to myself, like you. One thing I didn't necessarily do though in COVID, what you were saying about people growing their internet presence, I kind of went into a bit of a isolation mode. Like I didn't go on social media for like a year, I think, through COVID. And that time I just spent writing, and I spent kind of sitting with myself and being bored and just like allowing myself to think freely and just be. And that's when I had all these epiphanies, and a lot of things actually happened. I signed my publishing deal during the COVID months because the first 6 months, all I'd done is written songs, and then I happened to meet my publisher, and all that was kind of happening, but in the background, and no one really knew about it other than me. So yeah, it was more of a creative time, I think, and I very much understood who I am and what I'm about from that period. And now I feel like I can move forward in the world as like my truest self. So I really do appreciate that time. I know not everyone had a great time during COVID, but for me, that's the one positive I've taken from it, that I actually had a good time for it and I learned a lot.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. And, like I say, a lot of people took it differently, and a lot of people, had different kind of like views on what life was, and a lot of people took the time to find themselves. And
Yeah.
I did that as well. Times where I wasn't doing interviews and doing podcasts, because I think I did like 4 a week at that point. And I was releasing 4 a week.
Yeah.
Some people used it to reflect and to kind of like build up what they've got in like at the home, and finish off projects that they've wanted to start for a long time that they've always put off. And
Hmm.
it was actually, for me, it was nice to kind of like just stop for a second, because there's so much. I mean, I absolutely missed going to see live performances.
Yeah.
Really missed that, because I used to love it. I mean, growing up in Leeds, I had Party in the Park,
Hmm.
where like it was a random festival that was happened in the middle of Temple Newton. That was pretty much it wasn't free, but it wasn't expensive either. It was quite cheap. And no, I lied. It was free. Party in the Park was free because we had to apply for tickets, and I think you only got like 2 or 3 tickets per household.
Okay.
And it was absolutely incredible. I mean, the last one that I went to see was Dizzy Rascal in the middle of Temple Newsome. It was like, this is insane. This is brilliant. Um, but yeah, that's a completely different thing. But yeah, and a lot of people discovered songwriting and developing themselves. Now, you mentioned about your publishing deal as well. Are you still with the same publishing company?
Yeah.
What's the crack? Who are they? Tell us more.
Yeah, I met Clive 2021, I think, and yet still my publisher now. Massive, massive help, because having someone there to just sort of audit your songs a little bit, because you make them and you don't. I never really know what to make of any of the songs I write. I never really think, oh, I love this one or I hate that one. I just don't really have any attachment to it. I just write it and then it is what it is. And if people like it, they can sort of take it for themselves. But for me, I just want to get it out of my system. I don't really know necessarily which is a great song or which isn't. So that's been really helpful having him. And he's also just like the loveliest person. And I
Yeah.
genuinely like gained such a friend in him. So that's been amazing as well. But that was a big goal of mine for a long, long time, to get a publishing deal. Because as a songwriter, like that was just something that I was like, okay, I'm a songwriter now. I can say I'm a real songwriter. And I didn't know this, but I read on PRS the other day that only 12% of published writers are women. And I didn't know that. And I felt like so honored that I was one of them. I was like, that's pretty cool. So yeah, it's just been an amazing achievement for me. And I think I'll, yeah, hold that one like close for a long time. Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely incredible, hearing things like that. I mean, I remember watching when I first kind of got back into country back in 2016, 2017.
Yeah.
Not in the actual performance, this side of things, but in terms of actually being engaged with it and being a fan of it. It was at a time where presenters like Bobby Bones was highlighting the fact that women in country, there's just not enough representation in terms of what's in the charts, what's being broadcast on radio,
Yeah.
um and they created the thing on iHeart with women of country,
Yeah.
which Amy Brown, she does a lot of the presenting on that. And I just thought it was absolutely fascinating. And then watching again, I watched because with shows here in the UK and around the world, a lot of people don't like to big each other up, but I love all the podcasts. I love everybody that's involved in
Yeah.
the radio world here. And I will shout them all out, the likes of Matt Clues, incredible
Yeah.
presenter, and the vast variety of female artists that he features on his shows,
Mm-hmm.
incredible. Tim Protty Jones,
Yeah.
with Country Line, incredible, presenter, and the fact that he brings a lot of different people in as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, on my show, on my station at ukcountryradio.com, I try and play such a variety of, between men and women, and
Yeah.
try and feature on the podcast different things, as well as like Nutty Nora and Carl Schumacher and everybody else, because there's so many presenters.
Mm-hmm.
Matt
Yeah.
Dare, with British Country Music, he's again another incredible presenter, and has such a diverse range. The John Finch from UK Country Music Association,
Yeah.
again another incredible person that develops the showcases a variety of men and women. And I was watching the Girls in Low Friends podcast
Yeah.
the other day. No, it wasn't the other day, actually. I think it was this morning I saw it. And again, the percentage of female artists that are in the charts, I think they mentioned was 8%.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And it is just
Yeah.
To me, it's baffling. It is absolutely baffling, and it's so sad to see. And then, we've got the likes of Linda Conway from Voice of a Woman,
Yeah.
a show that's created for this reason, and to see that it's still so low is just so heartbreaking. I just,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I wish there was something that, we could do more. I mean,
Mhm.
in terms of the independent side of stuff that I've just listed, a load of names out there from the independent side.
Yes.
It's the commercial side, I think, but
Yeah.
not commercial UK, commercial US.
Yes.
And
I was
that's
going to
what's
say that.
influencing it.
Yeah, I've noticed that because in the UK, I felt so much support as a woman. Like, and a lot of the girls I've spoken to have all said the same thing. Like, in the UK scene, they're so supportive of women. Like, and we feel like we've been like we've been taken under the wings of everyone in it. But in the US, it just seems to be a totally different story, and it's bizarre because yeah, all I've ever known in the UK is just amazing people. Like everyone really chips in and does their best to showcase a variety of people, whoever they are, whatever, and I think that's awesome. But it is such a shame that it's not the same in America. And I think there's so many amazing people. Like when I think of Carly Pierce and Lainey Wilson and Ella Langley, and I'm like, they're only making up like 8%. It doesn't compute in my head because there's so much talent over there. But maybe the UK can like set some trends there and lead the way in terms of like we're a lot more equal in terms of our distribution of men and women here, and that's pretty cool. We can like sort of champion that and be proud of that, I think.
I think it is. I don't know. I just wish there was some. I wish there was a easy button that we could press that says boom, it's equal, or at least there's a bit of a better representation, even if it's a friggin' 10% rise.
Yeah.
Instead of being 8%, make it 18%, or make it 25%. Just
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
is so frustrating. But that is again one of the reasons why I love our scene here in the UK. It's the fact that I know people, there's always going to be people that kind of like ruin it and they kind of like bring other people down and they try and use people's backs to claw up or whatnot. You're going to get that everywhere you go. But the
Mm-hmm.
fact that the vast majority of the people here in the UK actually do support each other
Yeah.
it is so remarkable. And I mean, seeing, DC Brown, incredible videographer who travels the
Everywhere.
whole of the UK, thousands and thousands of gigs he's been to,
Yeah.
and so much recording that he's got on his YouTube show.
Mm-hmm.
And he gives me so much praise, and it's so nice to hear. And the fact that he, bigs up other people as well. And
Yeah.
we just all need to keep rallying together and increasing the female voice out there,
Yeah.
and backing up Linda, because Linda is the head of our army.
Oh, 100%. And I also have said this a few times, like the men that have come to my shows are so supportive of women's music as well. And I don't know if like the country world attracts like that type of supportive mentality. I don't know what it is, but genuinely I've been so grateful because every time I've put on like another girl on my show, they go and support her, they go and listen to her, and that's what I want. I want as many of us to do well as we can. And I've had a lot of guys on my shows as well that I've become really good friends with, who I've done shows with, and I just think the world would be so much better if everyone could just come together and see that we have so many more similarities than differences, and that everyone has something unique to offer. And I just think I have a lot of hope for the UK music scene and the UK country scene from what I've seen from all these amazing people. I think yeah, we've got such a great thing going on. So yeah, I can't see it getting like the American gender divide anytime soon. I think we're doing really well on it.
I really hope it doesn't go that way. Really, really do
Yeah.
hope. Now, going back to the music, sort of. So we've gone back to like one of the first lyrics that you remember sort of like writing and putting into a music video there was Sorry For.
Yeah.
What has been your favorite lyric that you've ever written?
Oh, that's a hard one.
That's a hard one.
I've actually never thought of that either.
Because there must be one line where you've written it down and you thought that's either so savage or that's so cool or that's so that really feels, or there must be at least one line. You can say multiple if you're struggling, but
Yeah. Well, okay, going back on like the representation, in Feb 14th, there's a verse and it says, I'm sure there's a guy getting ready for a date, but he ain't quite sure if the man he likes is straight. And it's like, I wanted to, I feel like gay couples are not represented enough in music
Hmm.
and storytelling. And so I wanted to include that as like this guy he wants to go for it, but he's not sure because there's no one said anything yet. And I kind of liked that idea. And I remember someone who was gay in the audience saying, "Oh, I really appreciated you saying that. Like I felt seen for Valentine's Day." So yeah, just jumping off the representation thing, I think I'm quite proud of that one because I do want to make everyone feel included and I want to push those boundaries more of what's like an acceptable romantic song. And I'm like, no, let's talk about everyone. Let's talk about all the situations. And I think, yeah, that's probably what I'm most proud of to sort of include that in that maybe. Yeah.
That's brilliant. I mean, I completely forgot about that line, because
Yeah.
I was so caught by the tumor. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, as a I'm bisexual myself. I came out. I think it was about 5 years ago, 4 years ago,
Yeah.
and it's something that's always daunting. But you don't really. It's either one way or the other. There's no kind of like
Mhm.
There's always a song that is very much full. This is a gay song,
Yes.
or it's very much this is a straight song. There's never kind of like one
Yeah.
that
Yeah, and in a way, I quite like
blends.
that, like saying, "Oh, he's not quite sure." I think it says coffee breaks and a sideways glance. He's thinking he might take his chance. Like to kind of, if you are like in that position and you're like, "I think I like this person. I don't know how they feel about this," and it's sort of like, "Well, it's Valentine's Day. Just go for it. Like, see what's there to lose," kind of thing.
The worst thing
And
they'll do is say no.
yeah, exactly. And I wanted to sort of show the nuance of that. So yeah, you're right. It either is like your super empowering song where it's like, or it's this way where they don't talk about it at all. And I think having it in the dialogue there and being like it's just kind of it's just
It's
there.
normal. It's
It's just
normal. It's
normal. Yeah. And I think yeah, I'm very proud of that for sort of it made me want to do it with more of my songs, just kind of remember the listener. Like, not every listener is straight, not
Mhm.
every listener is white, not every listener is a girl. And I think having that in my head when I write songs is quite important because, yes, it's coming from me, but like, how can I relate that to other people who haven't had the same life experiences or the same perspective? Because I want everyone to be involved in my music. So yeah, we'll say that's my favorite lyric at the moment. Yeah.
Now to go on from that, is there a lyric that you've wrote down that you've sort of felt like you shouldn't put down because it's too personal or too emotional or something that's really kind of like made you think, I don't know if I want to share this? Because that's what songwriting is a lot of the time, is sharing your own experiences, sharing your own thoughts and feelings. And is there
Mm.
anything that you've kind of like you've put out there, but you sort of think, do I want to put that out there?
Um, it's a very good question.
Or if there is not any songs out there currently, is there a song that you've written that you've kind of like holding back because it's still personal, you're just waiting for that right time when you're ready?
Yeah, to be honest, I feel like I'm quite comfortable, maybe too comfortable, with being quite
That's not a bad
honest.
thing.
Yeah, I'm quite honest in my songs, and I never feel embarrassed when it's in song form. If you
Hmm.
were to say, like, Amy, can you divulge your deepest, darkest fears right now? I'd be like, oh, I don't know. Like, do I want to say that? But with songs, I'm kind of like, I could say it in a song, and I feel like it would be accepted almost because there's something about the song form that allows you to be really vulnerable.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think in all honesty, anything I've wanted to write or felt like this is really personal, I've put it out there, and I think I'll keep doing that. One thing I don't tend to write about too much is like love. Weirdly,
Hmm.
it's one of the topics that I mean, obviously Feb 14th was kind of touching on it, but it was from the perspective of other couples or
Not
like
you.
not necessarily me. And same with Love Before the Internet. And my other songs tend to be more like, oh, like coming close, or I came close to this thing. That's a shame. Or like shoulder pads about like a film I watched, and I tend to write about things that aren't necessarily love, which I think is probably the most personal thing, where I'm a little bit more like, oh, that's more of a thing to keep for me, but I'll write about all these other things anyway. So I'm never short of topics to write about. But I guess that would probably be the one area where I'm a bit like, oh, the thought of writing like a love song and putting it out there that's like really true to me, or like, like that's maybe a bit vulnerable for me, just because I'm quite a private person with that sort of thing. But everything else, and most of it within that topic, I'm pretty open. Yeah.
Just curious, what is the one thing that sort of scares you in life, in a way? Don't have to be like physical fear, but what's the one thing in life that sort of really kind of like makes you think, oh shit?
Well, I have, when you mentioned anxiety, I struggled with health anxiety for quite some time. And I went to the doctor about it, and basically I went through about 3 or 4 years where I thought I was dying every day. And I thought like I had like a tumor. I thought I had a heart attack. I thought I had I had all these ailments that none ever existed. They were all in my head. And I got to the core of that, and I realized that the reason I had health anxiety was because I was so scared of something happening to me and never achieving my dream.
Yeah.
And that was what was making me feel so scared. So I realized that the only way to deal with that was to achieve my dream, because if that was what was making me feel so scared, the thought of leaving the world and not having shared my voice or whatever, then I just have to go and do it. So I kind of flipped it on its head and then sort of fought the anxiety head on. I was like, right, let's go and do everything. Let's go and like do everything I can to achieve this dream. So that was like the thing that has scared me the most in my life. But I think I'm on the journey to like confronting it all the time, especially in the last few years. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I totally get that. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's not a bad thing either to kind of like worry about what you're wanting to achieve in life, and yeah, it's a fascinating thing, really. I mean, particularly how the mind works. I've always been really, really interested in how people come up with ideas, or people, I mean, songwriters. I mean, I find it so fascinating how somebody can sit down and come up with a melody just like that and be like, oh, yeah, that rhyming structure works or whatnot. And, you know, I do little tiny bits of songwriting here, but I've got to have somebody that started it off, and I can add
Yeah.
some things. And as long as they've shown me like the melody or the thought process involved,
Mm.
I can come up with lyric or whatnot, but I can't sit there and write a whole song. And you know, to have the fear of not achieving, what you're set out to do just shows the kind of like potential that you have.
Mm.
And it's also shows strength that you've recognized that as well, and to say there's an issue here. I need to go speak to someone about it. So that's really remarkable, because there's a lot of people that'll just shrug it off. Oh, it's just my head. It's just whatever. You
Mm.
actually sought for the help and whatnot. I mean, I remember being a kid and suffering body dysmorphia,
Oh, wow.
and you know, I always used to think I was really, really fat, and this was back in school. And I look back at photos now, and I was so skinny,
Yeah.
and I don't recognize myself in some of the photos. It's just like, you can see my jawline. It's just so bizarre. But I used to think I was so fat. And there's times where I think I'm still overweight now. Technically, I am, but that's because I like a good beer,
Oh.
or a whiskey. But that's I've become more accepting of it now. But yeah, I mean, it's fascinating how the mind works and how it takes the negative and takes a hold of you and kind of
Mm.
like puts you into this dark box, and it kind of like compresses you in there, and that's what anxiety does, and depression as well.
Yeah.
And trying to explain to people what depression truly is like, because people just think, oh, you're just being sad. It's not about just
Mm.
being sad.
Mm-hmm.
It's about feeling alone, but with the pressure of the world that's on you.
Yeah.
And explaining that to someone in a logical sense is so difficult. And
Mm.
then that puts more pressure on yourself, you having to kind of justify why you're sad. And then people are like, well, can't you just do this to be happy?
Yeah.
No, it's not that simple. I mean, I take medication and that helps somewhat. But currently looking for therapy, and if you know any therapists out there, everybody, I joke. It is something that is it's a difficult subject, and it's
Yeah.
always a subject that I'll always sort of raise here as well, because people's minds are what matter,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah. How did you overcome your body dysmorphia? Like when you, because you were quite young when you said you had that. What triggered the sort of healing from that?
oh, I've not helped. I've not healed.
Oh,
I still suffer.
oh gosh, I didn't
Um,
know. Sorry.
no, I think for me it was just I try not to swear as much on it. I know I've sworn a couple of times, but not just giving a fuck.
Yeah, yeah. It does. It does help with a lot of things, you know.
I mean,
It does.
the medication that I take is called citalopram for those
Right.
out there. And what that is, it's an antidepressant and an anti-anxiety medication. So I believe by taking that, because I've been taking that for the past 7 years, I think now. By taking that, I think that's helped calm the way my mind thinks with it all.
Right.
Um, yeah, I mean, I've done all the slimming stuff as well. I've been to Slimming World. I lost like 7 stone. My heaviest I ever was for everybody, because I'm a sharer. Heaviest weight I ever was 18 and a half stone, and I got down from 18 and a half to 12 and a half in 6 months.
Incredible.
Which was, it was really nice being thin, but it was not healthy.
Mm.
So I left Slimming World because I found that I was literally watching everything I ate, and then I ended up just eating salads, and then that was it. And then I was not getting any nutrients. I wasn't getting enough.
Yeah.
And when it came to like the meetings and stuff, I was just telling them, "Oh yeah, this is what I'm eating. This is what I'm eating." And then I'd make it up, and I make it look like I'm actually doing it properly, but I've literally just eaten a leaf, and that's it. It's pretty
Yeah.
much bordering, anorexia.
Yeah. Well, that can also happen, can't it? When I've heard about this, like if you have body dysmorphia, and then you can almost go to the complete other end of it by trying to fix this one, and you sort of take it to the extreme on the other end, and it's trying to find that equilibrium in the middle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
So yeah, there you go, everybody. If you've watched this far into the show, you've just learned something about me that I've actually never actually talked about on this show. I've
Oh,
always talked about anxiety and depression, but I've never talked about my body dysmorphia.
that's interesting.
So,
Well, there you go.
look at you getting all this out of me just
Oh,
through random tangents. This is just you. This is.
Oh.
Because we've been talking for what, almost 2 hours now. I mean, probably over that, if anything.
Yeah.
Just want to go back into your gig last night at the Greystones in Sheffield, supporting the fabulous Katy Hurt. What was the kind of like biggest takeaway from that gig?
That I need to probably get a band because Callum and I were saying like we've been doing a lot of gigs as a duo at the moment, and we're like, oh, wouldn't it be great to have that kick there? And I think that would be the next progression for us to sort of develop that. So that was, and watching Katy like do it so well, and all the guys were incredible and just so tight. That really inspired us to sort something there. And I also think, and I've said it so many times, but her voice is truly like perfect. I can't hear a fault in that. Like you can hear every word she says. She's always on key. She never has a flat note. I don't know how she does it. And I was just truly inspired listening to her, thinking like, I want to be as good as this. Like I was just there like, I'm going to work my hardest to be as good as Katy, because if I could ever reach it in my lifetime, I will be very happy. I think she's truly amazing, and I really mean that. So yeah, she's kind of become a bit of a role model for me, like vocally, and how she performs. And yeah, I would just like to learn from her and learn from everything that she does in my own way, obviously, still like taking my own perspective and my own, but just with that technique that she's sort of absolutely nailed. I would like to inject a bit more of that into my performance, because that's probably the one thing that I've never really gone into. I've never really worked on my vocals properly. I've always worked on the songwriting. I never saw myself as a singer. I always saw myself as a writer and then a singer. So I think watching someone be an amazing writer and an amazing singer, I was like, you can do both. Like we can work on my vocals and be more confident in that. So that's probably the two takeaways I got.
When
Yeah.
was it that you first sort of realized then that, like you mentioned about the kick and stuff, realizing that you wanted a band? Have you thought about that before the gig last night, or was it kind of like just the final realization, the nail in the coffin, like, yeah, we definitely need to get this done now?
Yeah, the nail in the coffin. Yeah, because I have thought about it, and the problem with it is it's really hard to coordinate everyone. Lots of people are doing multiple projects, and I really value and I really value like the loyalty as well because my team are so like amazing and they put so much into it. So it would need to be someone that could put a lot of effort into the project, and that's quite hard to find as well. So it's like there's so many caveats to it. And I also haven't really played with a full band before, so there's a little bit of fear there. Like, how do I do it? How do the rehearsals go? I don't really know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a bit of fear around it, but it was the nail in the coffin.
I mean, it's exciting.
Yeah.
Anything like that is exciting, that there's going to be a development in something. There's always progression that always happens. Every day is a school day, and every day there's always something new to learn.
Yeah.
Even if it is just getting one of those, not a cajon, but you can get the pedals, the little foot stampers, which has the bass kind of like kick drum sound to it. Even if it's just that, that'd be nice. I mean,
Yeah.
you two together on stage, the way that he transitions between bass to playing the acoustic, and then you being able to be a bit freer, it was just so lovely to watch you both kind of like just be yourselves on stage. And
Yeah.
again, the audience participation, going back to that, and Colin's vocals himself,
Yes.
he could go solo.
I have said this to him many a time. Yeah, I think for him, so for me, I love kind of being the spokesperson, but I don't have all the technique. So I'm like, Callum, you've got so much technique, like help me spread my message. Whereas he's like, I don't really mind so much about like sharing everything about me. He was like, I just kind of want to support you in sharing your message. So it's kind of worked perfectly for us, but he has the talent and the ability that if he wanted to and he wanted to do his own music, I'd be so supportive of it and be like, you should do that because he's great.
Surely there must be a little tiny, tiny bit of fear that he does do that one day, and it would be like, don't leave me, don't leave me.
Yeah, I mean, no, I can't imagine that. I think, yeah, we've got like such a good, we've built such a solid foundation. Like I couldn't imagine he'd do that. But I think I'm just endlessly supportive of him as well because he's like genuinely the most talented person. So if he wanted to do that, I'd be like, do that too. But I think the way that we've done it fits us both so well. Like it's to his strengths and my strengths, even like because he's producing my album, his strengths are so much like executing on what's in my head, whereas I just have all these ideas and I'm like, I don't know how to physically do it. Like I can't play bass, I can't play guitar. I can play guitar, but
You
obviously
can
not
play guitar. I mean, you
not
played
brilliantly.
incredibly.
Not great. But so it just works so well. It's so complementary, like the way that partnership works. So yeah, but he has got an amazing voice, and he could definitely do it if he wanted to. Maybe we'll get him to do like a solo song as part of my tour.
You step back and you get like a shaker out or something whilst he's there doing.
Yes, I'm going to mention that. Let's see what he says because I think that could actually be quite cool and give him a little moment to
Shine himself.
own. Yeah.
So yeah, he's not being kind of like inundated with the full stage presence, but he's getting that nice little.
Yeah.
It's like having, an ice cream on a hot day. You don't have it all the time, but it's just nice to kind of like every so often.
Yeah, I'll let him know that you mentioned it and see what he says because I think he'd be up for it.
So final kind of like few questions here. So you mentioned earlier about Owen Morton and doing some songwriting with him and whatnot. He's Mr. Scouse Country. He's just so down to earth. How did that kind of like happen? How did you kind of like get introduced there? What was there?
Oh, was it online? I feel like it was online. Yeah, I can't remember who reached out first. I really can't remember that, but it was about 5 or 6 months ago. But I think he's a really talented writer. He has some really interesting perspectives. and we wrote a song that may go on this next album. And we're maybe considering doing it as a duet, so that could be fun. But yeah, he is obviously a really sort of prominent name in the country scene as well. So that's been, oh, my battery's low. So that's been really nice to sort of connect with him, because I really want to connect with as many as I can in the scene. And again, I think our voices blend really nicely together on this song. So we'll see what happens with that. We've just got to sort of finalise it now and sort of give it a few finishing touches. But yeah, there's so much talent in the UK scene, and genuinely I would like to be involved with as many people as I can, really, because they're all just great.
Oh, it's so exciting. So exciting. Are you going to the BCMA Awards in 2026 in January?
I'm not. No. The BCMA, I don't actually know how that all works, because I've seen stuff about it and I'm like, oh, I want to be part of this, but I don't actually know what I do or what happens. Is it a membership? Like, I'm not quite sure how it works.
Yeah, you can join as a member and whatnot. Definitely recommend joining as members for the BCMAs and the UK CMAs as well.
UKCMA, yeah.
You know, just I personally, I am a member of all of them. You know, anything that helps the scene, anything that can help an artist, I absolutely love. But yeah, in terms of the awards themselves, they usually happen at the Cavern in Liverpool.
Yes, I love the Cavern. Love
it's such a beautiful venue, and even if you just go as a, just go to watch. I mean, it'd be great to see you again there, and maybe we could have another chat there.
Yeah, okay. I'll. So you can just buy tickets for that as like a. Okay,
you can just buy a ticket for that.
Ah, yeah. The Cavern is one of my favourite venues. I did the open mic for like 3 years in a row, and then I got a gig in the main bit with the Christians. Do you remember the Christians?
Yeah.
I got a gig with them because they're from Liverpool.
Yeah.
And it was so random. It came out of the blue, and I was like, oh, like, I really like the Christians and I love the Cavern. Perfect. Like, it was the same with Katy. I was like, I love Katy. I want to go to Sheffield. I love when those moments happen. They happen so randomly when you're least expecting them.
Well, that's it. I mean, you found out, what, a week ago?
Yeah.
Going to Sheffield, and you've kind of like just run with it. You was like, yeah, okay, let's go to Sheffield. That's the plan. I think any other plans go out the window? It's just like...
I think it was actually less than that. I think it was like 4 days I found out. So I was just like, I'll do it.
I mean, it's a Friday night. Did you not have any other plans? Or was you just going to chill at home and write songs or whatnot?
I was actually supposed to be having a writing session with the woman who we wrote Hypocrite with on that day. She actually had to cancel for a different reason. She wasn't coming to the area anymore. So we actually postponed it. And I said, that's perfect. Like, it's worked out so well. So I could
go to the universe.
Yeah. And we're just going to do the writing session in a couple of weeks. So nothing had to be cancelled and I could do both of them. So that worked out so well. Yeah.
That's absolutely awesome. All right. Final few questions.
Okay. I'm getting hungry now.
Yeah. Oh, I was thinking about the same as well. The wallpaper behind you. I absolutely love it. I mean, it looks like what, hummingbirds that are like eating out of the flowers.
Yes, something I've always been like a fan of is I think it's called Art Deco, where everything's a bit like bold and maximalist. Yeah. So I love anything like that. Same with my clothes. You probably noticed I wear a lot of like dresses, like maxi dresses. So I feel like that's one of the things people notice. And the bolder the better, like the longer and the flowier the better for me. And like I love flowers and prints and colour and all that.
Very much like Kath Kidson type
printing. Yes. Yeah. I always said like if I had to say who I'd love to be sponsored by, it would be like Oliver Bonus, Kath Kidston, or Apothecary. Is it Apothecary? Yeah. And maybe Free People. And I was like, those 4 brands feel very, very much me. But I also like thrifting, so a charity shop would do.
Nothing wrong with a charity shop. I mean, it's one of my favourite things to do. I mean, half my clothes are pretty much from a charity shop. As long as you give them a good clean.
Yeah.
What more do you need? I mean, I've got so many nice shirts from charity shops as well. In fact, I think I've got a shirt. I can't be. But it's way over there, and it means taking everything off and going over there. So final question. It's a bit of a light-hearted question, and it has no purpose in life, but just to make you think for a second now.
Okay.
You know what a dragon is, don't you?
Yeah.
what color is the dragon in your head right now?
Red.
Red. Awesome. There you go. That's the question.
Is there a meaning to that?
No, there is no meaning. It's just I'm just curious, if anything, to think about the different colors because I've had green, I've had purple, I've had different sort of sayings, and I think you're the first person that's actually said red.
I think because I'm like, when I think of a dragon, I think of like a fiery, like temper. So I was like red. That's a red thing. But yeah, but I'm really sorry. I know we're meant to be going. I'm very interested in psychology, like you were saying about people's minds, and I'm always looking at the 16 personality types.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with it. Do you know what yours is?
No idea. I've never done it.
Oh,
You have to do, man. I'll do that tonight. I'll do that now after this.
Yeah, it's amazing. You'll love it. Like it tells you so much about yourself and like how you work and how you connect with people. I'm an ENFJ, so I'd be interested to know what you are. So
if you've got the link to it all, send it over and I'll do that. I'll do that within the next hour, and you'll be the first one to know.
Oh no, it's fascinating because it tells you how, because you're definitely an extrovert. I can tell, like you've definitely got, and I think I was about 70-30, like 70 extroverted, 30 introverted, but the other letters are like how you communicate or like what your goals are and what sort of jobs you gravitate towards, and it's just so fascinating. I think you'd really like it.
I'm gonna absolutely. I love the whole kind of like I've said, the way the mind works earlier. Is just, to me, it's just incredible. I mean, to say you can have two different people in the same room that could be very, very similar.
Yeah,
but they could be so different as well.
It's amazing.
Just by the way that the whole life lessons and whatnot is just incredible. Well, thank you so much, Amy. Thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you, even though we've had technical hiccups and whatnot. It's been great going into the deep dive of your music as well. It's just been so nice, and thank you so much. Where can people find you on social media?
So I'm Amy Jo Official on Instagram, Amy Jo Clough on Facebook, Amy Jo on YouTube, Spotify. I have got a TikTok, but I am terrible on TikTok. I feel like I'm young enough to have one. I'm young enough to have a TikTok, but old enough to not know what on earth I'm doing on it. That's the best way to describe. Yeah,
I've only just started posting stuff on it because I've had it for like 4 years.
Yeah,
and I've watched so many videos. I've doom scrolled it so many times, but I've never content created on it. Even though I'm a content creator, I had no idea what I could do.
Yeah.
Until like recently, it's like, oh yeah, I can do reels. I can do like live video stuff. I've actually never been live on TikTok either yet, so that's something to come soon. But I don't know what I'd do because what I do is this. I chat via this. I mean, I could, if I do an in-person thing, I could have it kind of like out and broadcast into the world, but then if I do that, then people have watched it already and they won't want to watch it on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever.
And I'm very much of the belief that of sticking to your platforms that work for you, because like this like longer form content is perfect for what the platforms you're already using. And then with TikTok, the thought of like chopping something like this up, it's like you can't get across everything that we've taught. Like it's so hard.
Yeah.
So I feel the same way, and I'm like, what would I do on? I feel like I've gotten so used to Instagram and Facebook, and my community's on there. I'm like, oh gosh, going again from scratch. It's all very stressful.
It is. It really is, and it's fascinating. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the other people that have done the way that they do it. Through TikTok and chopping up in little bits. People do you. You do you.
Exactly.
I just like to have my video. I like to put my video out there, no editing. I literally just chop the start and end. So you've got a clean start, clean end, and then put out there to the world. And literally, what you see is what you get. All the little hairs and graces. Yes, there'll be a chop in the middle because that's where I've had to merge the two videos together. But it is what it is. You have these things in life, and the whole purpose of these is so it's not, it's a flow. It's a conversation. This is literally what it'd be like if I was sat with you in a pub garden with a cider or whatever, just talking. Because this is what we do.
Yeah, and I think leaning into that and the things that we're good at in that sense is more important than chasing all the, because there's always going to be another app. There's always going to be something else, and it's like, and some people thrive so well on the short form. I wish that could be me. I don't think it is. Like I think I need a bit more time to get to like the crux of what I'm saying. But yeah, if it works for some people, I think go for it. Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely love it. This, I mean, YouTube itself. I mean, I've been doing this for what, 5 years, and I've done Zooms like this where I've got video recordings of stuff like that, and I've never put the videos out. I've never actually thought, you know what, let's just post the video out. I've always just taken the audio and put it onto YouTube. Whereas it's now like, why am I not using this?
Yeah.
It's actual video content. It's incredible.
Yeah.
But that's enough about me. We've been talking about you. This has been your show. This has been the Amy Show. And remember, everybody, it's Clough, not Clow. It's not Clug. It's not. It's like Brian Clough. The you know, it's incredible name.
Clough. It's not. It's a very. I always say to my dad, it's not a very singer name. So I just took that out and just said Amy Jo, and I thought that's not necessarily really exciting either. But
it's your name. It's your name. It stands out. It's about how you make it. You know, if your music is incredible enough to make your name pop, it makes it pop.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
I mean, Paul McCartney.
Yeah, that's quite a normal name, isn't it?
It's a normal name, but people, as soon as you say that name, you know it. And Amy Jo is going to be the name. Yeah. It is the name, including Clough as well. You know, so thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And I do hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Everybody, take care, and it's bye for now.
Bye.